I, as many of you, are sick of ads. And in the world where ads are worth so much and your time is what everyone is fighting about, there are a few things we should do to make it harder for these companies to make money. The reason why TVs are so cheap nowadays, advertisements and your algorithm is so good to drag your attention, is because all your data is being sold to the highest bidder. For example, your TV has this system in it. I forgot the name of it. I'm gonna put up the name right here. But that system, basically what it does, it's in every single smart TV out there, takes pictures of your screen multiple times in an hour. I think it's upwards of like 6,000 images an hour or something like that. Sends it to the TV's headquarters or to their cloud and then sell it on to the highest bidder. Not only that, you're also getting ads on that TV, you're getting ads on your phone, you're getting ads on your laptop, you're getting ads everywhere where you go. So there are a few things we could do. Network-wide ad blocker. You will not see it, your phone will not slow down, nothing, none of that, but it will be there in the background. Now, a few things you will need for my way of doing it is, of course, a device that will be basically the one eating up all the ads and all the tracking. In this case, I'm gonna be using a Raspberry Pi 02W. In most places, you can get these for about 20 bucks. You could probably even find a used one. I would recommend getting this. It's cheap, it's good enough. But if you have a bigger family or more people connected to your network, you might have to consider getting a bigger, beefier one. Or if you have future plans on getting like more ad blocking or even building a tiny server, I would recommend getting a Pi 5 or a Pi 4. They're just bigger, beefier. What else you will need is a 16 gig SD card, iOS 64, just because that's what I had laying around. But you will need a 16 gig SD card. You could probably get away with an 8 gigabyte. I just like to have a buffer. I don't know. It won't hurt to have a bigger one. Secondly, what I would recommend is having an Ethernet cable and an Ethernet adapter. Now, the reason I need an Ethernet cable is because the Raspberry Pi 20W does not have an Ethernet connector, but the Raspberry Pi 5 and 4 do. So if you go for that option, you will just need a cable. If you go for this option, you will need an adapter. You can use it wirelessly, but then the internet will actually be slowed down. So I recommend using this. You will also need external power. By that, I mean you will need a charging brick with a cable. Now, the only cable I could find with micro USB was a 3 cable, so that's what I have. The reason you're gonna need an external power, even though it will be able to get power from this, it will not be enough to feed the adapter and the Pi Zero. You will need an external one as well to connect everything so that it gets enough power. Otherwise, it will just boot loop and boot loop. Also, the brick recommended to be 15 watts. I use a 25 because I did have issues also with a 15 where it was just not getting enough power. So get a 15 watt minimum brick, preferably a little bit higher. Now we got all these things. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get to a laptop. Sorry, you also need a laptop. So what we're gonna need to do is we're gonna have to go to our browser of choice. In my case, Brave. We're gonna search up Raspberry Pi. We need to go to their website. When we go to their website, we're gonna have to go to software up in the top side, go to download Raspberry Pi Imager. Just press download. If you're on Windows, it will automatically give you the Windows download. If you're on Linux like I am, it will give you the Linux download. Press download and just download it. I already have downloaded it, so I'm not gonna do it, but just press download on it. Let it fully download and all that stuff. Now that we're here, plug in your SD card into your PC, laptop, whatever you're using. And here we're gonna choose the Raspberry Pi we're gonna be using. We're gonna be using the Raspberry Pi 02W. Press next. In here, it's gonna give you some operating systems to choose from. The 3 recommended are Raspberry Pi OS 64-bit, 32-bit, and Raspberry Pi OS Legacy 32-bit. None of these are what we want because all of them have Raspberry Pi Desktop, and Raspberry Pi or desktop environment. We do not want a desktop environment. That takes unnecessary amount of resources. So what we're gonna do, press Other OS. We're gonna go to Raspberry Pi OS Lite 64-bit. Even though it says compatible with Raspberry Pi 3, 4, 400, and S, it will work on ours as well. We're gonna press Next. We're gonna choose the SD card of our choice. Press Next. Give it a host name. I'm just gonna call it Ask You. Go next. It's gonna ask you where are you from, what time zone you want it to be in. Just choose whatever time zone you are in. Then go next, and then you're gonna ask for a username and a password. Username I'm just gonna keep as Ask You, just so it's simple. And password doesn't really matter. Whatever you want, just remember when you wrote it. Something, I don't know, anything 123, 123 doesn't really matter because only way to access it is if they're connected to your Wi-Fi. Press next. You don't need to give it access to your network because we're going to be using Ethernet, but it could be smart to just have it connected wirelessly as well. So you could just press next here. You want SSH enabled. SSH is the thing we're going to use to connect to it wirelessly through our network. Now, we technically don't need Wi-Fi for this because it's connected through our local IP. So even if our router doesn't have Wi-Fi access, we could still access it. Password authenticator, that means it's whatever password you just put in it is going to be the password to connect to it. Raspberry Pi Connect, we don't need it. It's just going to take unnecessary resources. Now, here's all the things. Raspberry Pi 02W, Raspberry Pi OS Lite 64-bit, on the storage, whatever the frick, and then host name is configured, local station configured, user account configured, Wi-Fi configured, SSH configured. And all we do is press write. Give it 1, 2, 3, and press I understand, erase everything, and write. Remember, doing this will erase everything that is on your SD card, so if you have anything you need to back it up now. Okay, so now that your install is finished and you can see that SSH is enabled, Wi-Fi configuration, user account, blah, 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 all have check marks on it, and you have gone through the verification process, you can just press finish. Now that you have pressed finished, all you do now is unplug your SD card, shove it into your Raspberry Pi SD slot. Now that we are here with all our accessories, what we do is we plug in our power connector to our Raspberry Pi Zero. And when you do this, make sure to put it in the right one because it does have two USB connectors. One of them says power and the other one says USB. You connect the power into the power side, and then all you do, plug it in, power outlet. Secondly, you grab your adapter, you plug in your adapter, and then you plug in this cord into any of the extra Ethernet cable ports you have, and then you plug in the USB in there, and also you plug in the USB-A, the power source for the Ethernet adapter, into either your router, doesn't matter. My router has a USB connection, so I'm just gonna plug it into mine. Now is the fun part. Now you have to wait for about 5 to 10 minutes to make sure that the PC fully boots up for the first time. Now I just let my Raspberry Pi just hang there without a case, without anything. Doesn't really need a case. It's chilling. Now that my Pi has been connected to the router for about 10-20 minutes now, and as you can see, I've even started doing the dishes. I hope you did that too, by the way, not just sitting on your ass waiting for 10 minutes on your phone doom scrolling Instagram, right? Yeah, thought so. What we do now is we go back on our PC, we open up the terminal. Now on Windows it's called PowerShell, and if any of these commands are different from Windows to Linux, I will put them in the description. Also, if you want a dedicated video for how to do this on Windows side, I can easily do that. So if you want, I can do a full rundown again through this on a Windows system. It's basically the same thing, no, but if you want, I can easily do that video as well. So what we do is we write IP space neighbor, and then here are all the IPs connected to, local IPs connected to my router. Now to do this, you of course need to be connected to the same router that your Pi Zero is connected to be able to see it. These two are the ones I'm looking for. As you can see, there are some things I've blurred out. That is the MAC address. Technically, I don't need to blur this out, but just in case if any of you want to be creepy and stalk me, these 192.168.50.237, those are my local IPs, and honestly, don't care if you have them. You could use the same IP if you want. You can change your IP to the same as mine. Doesn't really affect anything. As long as you're not connected to my Wi-Fi, you don't have access to it. And even if you do, what, you want to see how many ads I've blocked? Psst, creep. Anyways, what we do now is also another way you can do to make sure this is the right one. You can just unplug your Raspberry Pi, run the same command again, and see what things disappear. And then it's like, okay, well, that's it. What we do now, after we find out which one is ours, which one is our IP, we do SSH space, then we write the username we gave it, for my case, ask you, then we're gonna do the @ symbol, and then we're just gonna write the same one as up here, the one I know is my Ethernet connection. We're gonna write 192.168.50.237. Are you sure you want to continue? Yes. And then it's gonna ask for the password you set the Raspberry Pi. So what we're gonna do is write our password and then press enter. Of course, it hides how many digits and all that stuff. So just for safety. Yeah, I can already see we're in it. As you can see up here, our username is asku@asku and then the PC's name. And then we go down here, it says asku@asku, meaning we are SSH into that. Now, next thing we do, super simple. We just go on a browser. You go to your browser, you write PiHole install command. It's gonna, or just PiHole, it's gonna throw you to the PiHole website. And you just go copy this, which is curl-ssl, and then the PiHole install website, and then bash. So what we just do is we copy that in there. Copying in the terminal, you have to press Control-Shift-V. It's not just Control-V because then it just gives a different kind of command. It's gonna ask for the password again, give it the password, and pretty much done. It's gonna go through all the things, it's gonna get all the updates you need, everything you might need, so give it a second. Now, here's a new screen. As you can see, the install will transform your device into a network-wide ad blocker. Okay. The PiHole is free, but powered by donation. PiHole is serves to build a static IP function. Important, if you have not already done so, you must ensure that this device has a static IP. So one way of doing this, I'm going to be quickly showing it recording on my phone. What you do, setting, you can usually just search up for things like IP and either IP binding, either static IP, something in those realms, depending on your provider. You go to IP binding list, you just press the plus button, select by device list. This is just all the lists that it can see. And as you can see, I have already done so with this was my old one. Don't look at that. That's my old Raspberry Pi. But as you can see right here, it's the same IP as it was previously. Just try to find it on your network. You do have to connect to your router. Is as simple as going into your network settings, and then you look for this. Go with this, copy that shit into the browser, and here you go. So anyways, we go back to here and we press continue on static IP. Both are available, but Ethernet is of course better. It's more stable and less fault. Use Cloudflare. Honestly, none of them are wrong options, just whatever you. PiHole relies on third-party lists in order to block ads. You can use such ad or ad, blah, blah, blah. We'll look at that. Select yes to include. Yes, we're gonna include. Would you like to enable query logging? That is just so that you can see what has been blocked on your end in the future. Yes, show everything. It doesn't really matter. It's just gonna be cool to see some stats. Now that I got that, press next, and it should be done. Now, view the web interface. You can just press this link. It should bring you to the web interface, or this one. It doesn't, so let's just copy that in there. And now it's gonna ask for your password. Your password has been also given you. Web interface password is this, and you can also do sudo PiHole set password. There we go. And then just do this, and then confirm password. There we go, new password set. Now we go back to the browser, write in our password and enter. We're gonna do save, and right here you can see everything. Because of the Cloudflare, it has already chosen a lot of domain lists that it needs to block. It has a percentage blocked, queries blocked, and total queries gone through it. Now I'm gonna let this run for a few days. So future me here, I kinda just remember that I forgot to tell you, add the DNS or the PiHole to your router to send all the queries to it first. So the way you do it is, again, the same on the browser as on the phone. I'll be doing it on the phone again, is by going into settings and then searching up DNS. It could be something else like a private DNS, but it's something with DNS always in the settings. No matter what router you're on, it's gonna be something with DNS. So search up DNS. In my case, it's DNS settings. Go into there. You're gonna have to first select DNS server manually, press activate on it, and then primary DNS, you're just gonna write in PiHole's IP address or the Raspberry Pi IP address. In my case, again, it's 192.168.50.237. For you, it might be something else. For you, you might be lucky and have the same one as me, but just put that in and you should be good. And of course, press apply, and your Wi-Fi might reset for a second while it's updating all the systems. You should be good to go. So it's been a few days now, and as you can see, same me as in the previous clip, but it's been a few days. It's been actually 2 days of this running in the background 24/7 and without any hiccup. You can see that it has had a total queries of 23,789 and growing, because my wife is using it, my PC's running off it, my phone's running off it, everything is using that Wi-Fi. And up here you can see it's active, it's uptime, not uptime, what is this? Queries per minute, sorry. The load on the CPU, memory usage, you can see all that. And here you can go to query log. In query logs, you can see, for example, like iCloud, for example. My wife uses an iPhone, so iPhone really, or Apple really loves having all your data collected to their servers, meaning absolutely everything is being, from my wife, sent to Apple. Which is another thing why PiHole is amazing, because it blocks these things. So, for example, Apple will not be getting all the data she does on her phone while she's connected to this Wi-Fi. But yeah, you can see everything from who's being blocked. This, for example, Facebook should realistically block it. I could try maybe blocking it, see what happens. Sometimes it could break something. So if you want, you can just press deny, and it's gonna deny every future query from that. It might work to get rid of some ads, who knows? Haven't tested it. Of course, like iCloud right there, browser intake, don't know what that is. I'm assuming it's my browser. And if you want to allow them to go through, you can just press allow. You're like, oh yeah, that company can get all my data. Going through, you just see like when it happened, if it got blocked, if it got served from cache, or if it got forwarded, or whatever happened to it, right? Then you see who it went to, and then what type it is. I don't know what type really means. I'm not really into this that much. Also, you can see groups. Haven't really messed around with it. Clients, haven't really messed around with either. Domains. Here you could add like easily a domain you don't want, that you want to allow or deny. Lists of domains. You could find big batches of domains, because this one right here, as you saw in the beginning, it's the 81,000 domain list. That's this one. You can easily go to GitHub or Reddit and find people creating your own like GitHub repositories. You can just drop in here, so it just blocks another 100,000 million, whatever, domains. You can disable it for a period of time if you need to test something, if you want to see if the actual effect is working, if you can notice a difference. In settings, you can do DNS, all these things. In DNS settings, you can change if you suddenly don't want Cloudflare. You can easily go over to Google or go over to Quad9 or whatever you might want. So yeah, this is just, honestly, when you set this up, you can leave it forever. It's gonna be fine. Maybe once in a while, it might ask you for an update, or you can manually go in and do sudo apt update on it. But honestly, you don't need to. And if you do, just, yeah. Again, SSH into it and run an update on it. It's that simple. All for now. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope this was a good, informative video for you guys. And really, I hope that, yeah, if you want to see anything else, if you want me to do the same process through the Windows system, even though it's basically identical, if you do have the funds for it, donate some money to PiHole. If you don't, it's okay. It's open source. Thanks for watching. Screw the ad companies. And screw the fucking ads. See you next one.